agenda, my friends, is an agenda of fear. It's low. It's not where our standards are. This is what they're saying to us. If you want a great North Carolina, deny public education, deny health care, deny unemployment, deny minimum wage. Tom Tillett says raise the minimum wage is a dangerous idea. That's right. No, what's dangerous is somebody being elected by the people that don't want the people to make a minimum wage. That's what's dangerous. Then deny immigrants' rights, deny LGBT rights, deny women's rights, deny labor rights. You just deny everything, and you stir up all of this division, and after you've done all of that and got everybody mad, then make sure people can get a gun easier than they can vote. Yeah. That's
Forward together! One step back! Forward together! One step back!
Today, we are here to remind our elected officials that the right to vote is a right that has been paid for by the blood and that's guaranteed by the Constitution.
When voting rights are under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back.
And we're going to let the governor know and the members of the General Assembly know that you were elected by the people to do the work of the people. And if the people have to send you back home in 2016 and 2018, by God, we're going to do it.
I matter to God. Governor, do I matter to you?
I matter to God. Governor, do I matter to you?
I matter to God. Governor, I do matter to you.
Respect! 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 Respect!
The constitutional rights and humanity of all people.
Of all people!
Regardless!
Regardless!
Of race!
Of race!
Creed!
Creed!
Class!
Class!
Gender!
Gender!
And sexuality!
And sexuality!
Forward together!
And so here we stand as young people, answering that call to justice that our ancestors have left for us. It's now our time to take up and pick up where they're letting go.
It is these poor white Southerners who are so often without health care, who are underpaid and need a raise in the minimum wage, who need emergency unemployment and earned income tax credits, but instead, they get a flag and a monument. And they have been fooled into believing that this is enough.
Voters should have the right to vote, and it should be unhindered, and it should not be abridged or denied in any way. And we will fight for that every day, for everybody. Black people, white people, Latinos, Republicans, Democrats, independent, it does not matter. You cannot mess with the right to vote, because when you do that, you cut a hole in the heart of this democracy. It's our time. It's our vote. It's our time. It's our vote. It's our time. It's our vote. It's our time. It's our vote.
Forward together! Forward together! Y'all are looking good, North Carolina. And our friends from other places. It's marching time. It's movement time. Welcome back to the 10th annual HKonJ, the historic thousands on Jones Street, and the Moral Movement March on Raleigh. Welcome back. And when I was asked to greet you in 2010, I opened up letting those out who are occupying spaces in the North Carolina General Assembly who have been fighting against the people of North Carolina, passing retrogressive laws and policies to hurt women, children, immigrants, blacks, ethnic minorities, hurt workers, hurting teachers. We came back to let them know we're back. to know that until they do right by us, we will keep coming back, no matter how long it takes, until the walls of oppression down in our General Assembly and in our state houses, until they come down. We aren't going anywhere. We're going to keep on fighting. We're going to keep on mobilizing. We're going to keep on voting. No matter how much they try to suppress our vote, we're going to let them know that the people will not stop until we get it right. And getting it right means making sure that the people who are elected to serve us understand that they are serving the people and not themselves. And so welcome back to the HKonJ. It's cold out here, but we are on fire for justice. We've taken too much. Too much has been launched against us. Too many attacks. And so it may be cold, but we are fired up and ready to fight. I have with me one of the original architects and designers of this movement, who sat down with Reverend Dr. William J. Barber and another small group of folk, including Stella Adams and Aaron Bird, who stood with him to design what was the first HKonJ. We had Mary B. and Sue Perry Cole. There were so many who were at the table lending their wisdom and their guidance on what we needed to do to mobilize people of all race and ethnicities, of all faiths, of all socioeconomic statuses, together to fight against what we were seeing was an all-out frontal attack against the people of North Carolina. And 10 years later, with our 14-point agenda, we are still fighting, that we are stronger, and we are better, and we are wiser than ever. They've tried to take our rights away, and they've tried to divide us on every side. They tried to make poor whites think that it was blacks and immigrants, and blacks think that it's the immigrants, and immigrants think that it's the blacks. They've tried to divide us, but we're here today to let them know that we are all coming together as brothers and sisters, because until the lives of black children matter, until the lives of Hispanic and the children's lives matter, those who believe in justice, we will not quit. And so I'm going to ask now my co-MC, Ajamu Dillahunt, who has been on the front lines fighting for labor rights, criminal justice rights, reform, and fighting for us, the people. I'm going to ask him if he'll come now.
Good morning. Forward together. Forward together. 10 years ago, we understood that forward together meant building a coalition like the one you see around you. Look around, audience. This is the coalition that we needed to win. And we understood that one step back meant they were not going to take us back to the 19th century. We're not going to give up any ground, no matter how hard they try to do it. We understood that this is a protracted struggle. It's a struggle that our people have been through since we were brought to these shores. And we won some victories after the Civil War, and they tried to take them back. And we won some victories during the Civil Rights Movement, and they're trying to take them back. But we're fighting now to build and win again, and we will win. We've got a movement that's captured the spirit and the support of people all across the country and all around the world. And people are building coalitions just like our coalition as we speak today. We need to be proud of what we've done. 10 years, a full decade, and we know we're going to have to continue with this struggle. So today, as we march forward, as we listen to all the speakers, understand that this is our time. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Now it is time, it is our custom. We are opening up, calling on God, our Creator. And we do this through prayers of all faiths, recognizing we are a blended and a fusion coalition. And so we're going to begin with our prayers.
Beloved, let us look to the Lord for his assistance. Dear great, gracious, and glorious God, we call upon you and your holy name, recognizing and realizing that you are the supreme and sovereign ruler of us all. You created us in your own image and likeness, but sin has warped the minds of men, and throughout the world there is much injustice, inequity, and inequality. It is our prayer that you will help us to see our responsibility towards each other, especially the rich towards the poor. Lord, we ask that you would redirect our minds and our hearts of those who do not regard the cares and concerns of others. We pray that you will right the wrong that are taking place in our world and vindicate those who are being treated unjustly. Keep us from trying to take matters into our own hands with vengeance. For vengeance is yours, and indeed you will repay. The voter suppression measures imposed by our legislative body has caused many to be disenfranchised. And those who have done this seem not to realize that the wrong they do unto others, they do unto you. Amen. Our collective prayer is that you, our mighty God, would let justice roll on like a river and righteousness like a never-failing stream. Bless us today with a meaningful experience and allow us in your name to be more than conquerors in our efforts. For this we thank you even now. Amen. Amen.
Good morning. I'm Rabbi Lucy Dinner from Temple Beth Or here in Raleigh, along with Rabbi Leah Citron, who is with me. Shabbat Shalom. Oh God, we come before you on this day because a pernicious politics of fear and hate consumes our county, our country, and our state. Today's flash in the pan politicians bank on the lowest common denominator to divide and conquer. We're still cynical and fed up Americans are fueling the fire of these would-be leaders, reveling and goading them in their racist, homophobic, sexist, and xenophobic rants. Oh God, we are marching today to combat that politics of fear, to replace it with the politics of the heart. In this week's Torah portion, we read of the instructions for the building of the tabernacle, the first central worship place of the Jewish people. Tell the Israelite people to bring me gifts. You shall bring gifts, every person whose heart so moves. What do we learn from this? That each person has a specific gift, a skill unique to his or her heart. That building the tabernacle requires every resource. Only with the multitude of the unique gifts spread out here today, spread out across our state, can we heal The politics of fear says that we should build fences around anyone who is not like me. Oh God, the politics of heart teaches that the best communities emerge when we combine our diverse individual gifts and skills. Every person whose heart is moved, oh God, we bring before you the antidote to the politics of fear, the politics of heart. We are here because our hearts are moved today to make us a great people. We are here to show that diversity in this country is our greatest asset to our electorate. We are here to heal our state, to heal the divisiveness, to replace it with the blessings that abound. We are here to hear your call, oh God, and we are here now with the sound of the shofar to call us to action.
Assalamu alaikum. May the peace of the Creator of the heavens and the earth be upon you all. I'm Imam Salahuddin Muhammad, Associate Imam at As-Salam Islamic Center. My dearly beloved brothers and sisters, this is a prayer. We are gathered this morning at this 10th annual Moral March on Raleigh, the capital of the state of North Carolina, to beseech the Creator and the Lord of all humanity to pour out a generous portion of moral courage on those who are present and those who aren't present. We pray that God will imbue all of us with the moral strength and fortitude to stand up and struggle for justice in education, to stand up for economic justice, for workers and workers' rights and livable wages, to stand up for justice in health care and Medicaid expansion for all. We pray to God for the moral courage and fortitude to fight for environmental justice and equal protection under the law, without regard to religion, creed, race, nationality, or gender, to stand up for voting rights for all in a just criminal justice system. We pray that this new and fresh fusion movement, which includes the People's Assembly with over 150 coalitions under the leadership of Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II and the North Carolina NAACP, be given the moral courage to continue on the moral high ground by keeping the moral compass out front in the march for justice. Oh God, bestow your justice and peace upon the countless millions of humans who are bearing the indignities, pain, burden of injustice, and violence on a day-to-day basis. Oh God, you are the most gracious and the most compassionate. So unleash your compassionate justice on those who are weak and oppressed. Grant us a government with legislators who will protect the weak and the poor and let none go hungry. Grant us the victory and preserve our voting rights that are based on fairness without the zigs and zags in our districts that lead to injustice and voter suppression. Grant us a society where the benefits of civilized life are shared and everyone can enjoy them. A society where different communities of faith, races, and cultures live together in appreciation of each other, of the other, living in mutual respect. A society where peace is within each person and without. A peace that grows out of justice, and that justice is guided by truth and love. Oh God, imbue our courts of justice with righteousness and equal justice and protection and compassion that overpowers hatred and greed. Oh God, justice and peace, thank you for continuing to challenge us to be courageous in the face of the injustices and the immoralities of our times. Grant us the fortitude to preserve the vision, words, and deeds of our great human and civil rights freedom fighters from our past and our present, to continue to think, act, and serve the cause of justice and peace for our communities, our nation, and our world. Give us the wherewithal to establish peace in our neighborhoods and put a stop to gang violence, to garner peace between the African American community and law enforcement. Oh God, give us the wherewithal to improve the educational system, to create more businesses and jobs, as well as better housing in poor communities, and to decrease the demand for drugs and reduce crime and the over-incarceration of black males and now females. Finally, we pray, Creator God, that you strengthen our families. Bless this gathering. Bless us, protect us, and shower your mercy on us. Forgive us for our shortcomings and guide us to all the right guidance and to the right faith in you. Amen. Amen.
My name is Reverend Nastasha Ostrom, and I'm the Assistant Minister at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Raleigh. Please join me in the spirit of prayer or meditation. O God of many names, whose image is reflected in our many shapes, many sizes, and many colors. O great God, you whose image will not be confined to just the faces of the powerful. Bless us all, just as we are and as we are becoming. As we gather together this chilly morning, invigorated and inspired by your presence, and eager to do your will in the creation of justice. O great God of justice, open our minds and our hearts to the power, inspiration, and renewed sense of commitment that dwells here among this justice-loving body today. Strengthen our bonds of solidarity to one another and to the many, many communities, some here and some unable to be here, who have too long been silenced, too long been denied rights, and who are crying out together for the right to vote in things that matter to their lives. And when we take our first steps away from this place later, be in our bodies, O God, as we move out into the streets and dwell in our hands, even beyond this day, as we work together and in our separate communities to bend the moral arc of the universe just a little more toward justice. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
Good morning. My name is Dharampal Singh, and I'm a Sikh from North Carolina, one of 25 million in the world, maybe a couple of thousand in North Carolina. And rather than bring my own words, I thought I would bring a message of equality that we have received from our 10th Master, Guru Gobind Singh. It goes, Koi bhayo mundiya, sannyasi koi, jogi bhayo, koi brahmachari koi, jatiyan manbo, Hindu turak ko, Rafsi imam shafi, manas ki jaat sab hai, eke pehchan bo, karta kareem soi, rajak rahim hoy, दूसरों न भेद कोई भूल भ्रम मानबो एक ही की सेव सभी को गुरुदेव एक ही स्वरूप सब है एक है जोत जानबो. And a rough translation is that there are many religions. Some are Hindus, some are Muslims, some are Christian, Jews, and so on. But we are all created equal. That is the one word. Manas ki jaat sab hai ek hai pehchan bo. Let there be no doubt that Almighty God is the creator and provider of us all. Almighty God pervades in all of us. Let us serve Him, take guidance from Him, and let us see Him in all of us. Thank you.
So you all know that this movement is impossible without hard laborers and workers on the ground from many, many organizations. And you will hear from representatives from some of them. But right now we're going to have Courtney Patterson, who is one of the vice presidents for the North Carolina State Conference of the NAACP, the largest state conference in the South and the second largest in the country. And we need your help to become the largest in the nation. So we need you to go to our membership table if you are not a member. I want to thank all of our staff for the state office. We work on pennies to the dollar in terms of our sweat equity and our time, and literally pennies to the dollar. And so I have a dedicated, Reverend Barber and I have a dedicated staff. Laurel Ashton, many of you know, this HKonJ coordinator of all coordinators, Reverend Curtis Gatewood, John Steen, our media and communications, and also one of our field organizers, Yara Allen, our cultural arts and field organizer, and Maida Nzangola, who is my right hand and our office manager. And so now I'm going to ask all of the executive committee members who are here and Mr. Courtney Patterson, and following that, so that I won't have to come back because we're behind time and we're going to have to speed things up so that we can march on schedule. You know that I've heard when the artists are silent, when the musicians stop playing, when the singers stop singing, when the poets stop speaking and spitting poetry, and when the writers stop writing and the artists stop painting, then there's trouble in the movement. The movement is dying. I am so glad that when we look around North Carolina at our moral movement here, we are alive and well because we've got some awesome cultural artists who are speaking loudly and doing their thing. And so we will hear from Trina's Thoughts. And if you haven't heard this sister before, you are in for a treat. And then our beloved Raging Grannies, in that order.
Forward together. All right. On behalf of our president, Reverend William J. Barber II, our executive director, Reverend Michelle Laws, over 100 branches of the youth and college chapters across the great state of North Carolina, yes, and our 200 plus HKonJ partners, the North Carolina State Conference of the NAACP welcomes you to the 10th annual Historic Thousands on Jones Street. This is our ceremony, our time, our vote. You're welcome here to let those who we elect know that if they try to take away from our voting rights, we've got something to say about that. If they try to deprive over 500,000 people health care, we've got something to say about that. If they choose not to provide us children in North Carolina with a well-funded, high-quality education, we've got something to say about that. When you choose to cut unemployment benefits to well-deserving, hard-working individuals at a time through no fault of their own, they've been laid off of their jobs, we've got something to say about that. If you take away unearned income credits, earned income credits from working poor, we've got something to say about that. Over 1,200 people have been arrested. Over 350 moral Mondays, hundreds of press conferences, millions of dollars spent in court to protest these laws. We welcome you here today with a warm heart on this cold February day to say, this is our time to vote.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Carolina, Carolina, heaven's blessings attend her. While we live, we will cherish, protect, and defend her. Though the scorner may sneer at and Wilton's defame her, still our hearts swell with gladness whenever we name her. North Carolina, known as Old North State, but here's the debate. Old ways is back in them old days. So what's really at stake? And just look at the state we're in when it's hard to defend, when justice is not equal to all men. Here we go again. It's like we're time traveling back to again. It's like I'm still boycotting in Selma. It's like I'm still writing letters in Birmingham jail cells. It's like I am still sitting at lunch counters in Greensboro. It's like a black boy's strange fruit hanging from southern trees in Bladenboro. It's like North Carolina don't even seem to care no more. So we are knocking on the court doors, asking the McCroys to come out and play with us. Cause y'all keep playing with us. In a room full of elephants, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I thought y'all said we are the people, and we just want to be treated fair and equal as a Carolina's playing field where Blue Devils take on Carolina Tar Heels. Face off, the game day is real, and we are the referees, skin tone dressed in black and white. This right here is about what's wrong and what's right. We are blowing whistle on bad plays. We will not be confined because y'all stuck in y'all ways. We are fired up and suited up, and we came to play. Now I need you to explain how you reduce early voting days. I need you to explain how you ended voting registration on the same day. I need you to hear what my little 17-year-old has to say. That minority that you are neglecting are the same ones we are protecting. So let me explain to you who you're really affecting. How would you really feel? Why are we good enough for your $1 million sports deals? Why are we good enough to play on your fields? Why are we good enough to play on your courts? Why are we good enough to play all your sports, but we're not good enough for you to respect our vote? Your games are over.
Ready. We're the raging grannies, and we're here again to say, ain't no one ever gonna take our voting rights away. We'll fight them in the courts, and we'll be marching here today. 'Cause it's our time, it's our vote, not one step back, no way. They want to take us back in time when bigots ruled the land, when women, blacks, and poor folks from the voting booths were banned. But they'll fly their flags no more as we rise up and we demand. It's our time, it's our vote, not one step back, no way. They think that we don't know just what their scheming laws have done. How redistricting is how they got the votes they say they won. How their voter ID laws make voting hard for everyone. It's our time, it's our vote, not one step back, no way. We want equal rights for women and for all folks straight and gay. And the Medicaid expansion funds that they have turned away. And workers need the right to work for fair and decent pay. It's our time, it's our vote, not one step back, no way. We want a planet clean and safe where kids can grow and thrive. No fear of guns or cops or war, a fair chance to survive. No coal ash in their water, just a chance to stay alive. It's our time, it's our vote, not one step back, no way. We voted all our lives, there's not a struggle we have missed. Now we're raging for our rights again, and we won't be dismissed. Our rights and yours are threatened, and we're seriously pissed. It's our time, it's our vote, not one step back, no way. The racists thought they'd stop us with their bombs and with their guns. In Charleston as in Birmingham, their evil deeds were done. But then as now we stand united, we shall overcome. It's our time, it's our vote, not one step back, no way. So we will march together, young and brown and black and white, the unemployed and union folks, and work with all our might. And we'll vote and keep on marching till we all have equal rights.
a big hand. And so now we will hear from advocates from different movements and different organizations. I'm going to read off their names and organizations, and then they'll come in that order. We'll hear from Tyler Swanson, speaking for youth from the North Carolina NAACP Youth and College Division. Jorge Luis Ramos for Immigrant Justice from El Pueblo. Moises Salmeron from Action NC. Gloria De Santos on Women's Rights from Action NC. Dr. Spearman on Education from the North Carolina NAACP. Manzoor Chema on Islamophobia from Muslims for Social Justice. Kim Porter on Environmental Justice from NC Warren. Danita Judge, Voting Rights from the Advancement Project. Please come forward.
Good morning, North Carolina. Good morning. So glad to be with you all. My name is Tyler Swanson, the Field Secretary for the North Carolina Youth and College Division. And I am so happy to be with you all today on the 10th anniversary of the HKonJ People's Assembly and the Moral March on Raleigh. You know, we stand in a city, we stand here on the shoulders of the great youth that came before us to organize, to pave the way for us so that we can live in a better future so we can live in a better tomorrow. We stand here in a city, Raleigh, North Carolina, is a very historic city, knowing that next door Ella Baker and other great youth came down here 56 years ago to start the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. We stand here we're here in a state in North Carolina that has a historic background in social justice movements and fostering fusion movements here in this great state. But you know what, my friends, I gotta say something. We have no time for foolishness. We have no time for foolishness when our voting rights are being under attack. We have no time for foolishness when black lives are being attacked every 28 hours. We have no time for foolishness when our higher education is being sold to the highest bidder. We have no time for foolishness when our General Assembly, who is supposed to be elected of the people and represent the people, are being sold off by the Koch brothers and Karl Rove and Art Pope. We have no time for that. But I can say this, we will win. History has showed us that we can win. History has shown us and they gave us the tools to come forward and show how we can win. But it takes work. And ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters, we can do it. We got to keep our eyes on the prize. And we got to hold on. And not only do we got to hold on, we got to hold on to God's unchanging hand. And when we hold on to God's unchanging hands, mountains can move, injustice will fall, and we will move this country and this state forward together and not one step back. Thank you.
Hello everyone. It is a privilege to stand before all of you on this beautiful and cold morning. But we're not going to let that stop us, are we? No! As we join forces for the common good, I can see that there are a lot of brilliant, passionate people here today, and I want to take advantage of this opportunity to talk about an intersectional issue that's oftentimes left unmentioned: the struggle of the undocumented immigrant. In the words of novelist Sadie Smith, these days it feels to me like you make a devil's pact when you walk into this country. You hand over your passport at the check-in, you get stamped, you want to make a little money, get yourself started, but you mean to go back. Who would want to stay? Cold, wet, miserable, terrible food, dreadful newspapers? Who would want to stay in a place where you are never welcomed, only tolerated, just tolerated, like you're an animal finally house-trained? Immigration reform is necessary to end the suffering of undocumented immigrants, or rather what they actually are, human beings. The catastrophic effects of U.S. foreign policy, military intervention, corporate greed, rampant corruption, and a war fueled by the drug consumption of the American population, poverty, violent crimes, murders, and the kidnappings are just some of the realities immigrants are faced with on a day-to-day basis. Thus, the act of immigration isn't an act of preference. It is an act of survival. Picture one of the many victims of poverty. They have never had a chance at life, survived only to lead nothing more than an existence burdened with constant suffering. Most didn't choose this for themselves, as this life was handed to them. They want an end to their agony. They dream for something better. All of their life they have heard of a land filled with opportunities, somewhere they might actually have a chance at happiness and prosperity. They ache knowing that their kids will grow up to endure the same pain they've suffered through, so they escape. They leave everything they ever knew, their families, their culture, their language, and their roots, and for what? Upon arrival, they realize that the hardships they once had were only left to be replaced by new ones. When we talk about our immigration stories, we often point out the amount of opportunities that the U.S. has to offer, but we never talk about how those opportunities are denied to us, especially to the millions that are undocumented. My parents, along with the parents of millions of others, deserve to have DAPA. They break their backs every day at the risk of being exploited, abused, discriminated against, and taken advantage of just to make sure their kids have enough to eat and an opportunity to live, not just survive. They, the millions that are eligible for DACA and DAPA, along with the millions more that aren't, live in constant fear of being ripped away from their families by an unjust system that could seem to care less about them. They, like the many others in the same situation, have been branded with a title not fit for a human being. Illegal. A title with a connotation so malicious that it desensitizes the American public into seeing all undocumented immigrants as things, as monsters, as criminals and rapists, not people with hopes and aspirations. So Pat McCrory, I hope that you're listening, and I hope that you, along with all these crooked politicians, start reevaluating your actions. We demand justice and we demand DACA and DAPA for my parents and the millions more who are eligible, but above else, we demand an immigration reform. We cannot rest, we cannot stop, we will not stop, and this will not end until every single one of us is free. Free from fear, free from cruelty, and free from the despair that hangs down on us like chains. Change is possible. It'll just require all of us to make it happen. We are all North Carolina. Join our movement. And to those of you who can vote, when it's time, go out and vote. Our communities are at stake. Forward together. One step back. Thank you.
Hello, I want to thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to say in Spanish, he's going to translate for me. Thank you. Quiero contar la historia de mi sobrino Pedro Arturo Salmerón. Quiero pedir a quien corresponda, por favor, que pare la deportación, ya que él está detenido en una cárcel en Georgia.
I'm here to speak for my nephew Pedro Arturo Salmerón. He is right now being detained in Stewart County, Georgia, and I'm here to ask immigration to let him go.
Arturo es un muchacho muy bueno que nunca se ha metido en problemas con la justicia, excepto por entrar indocumentado a este gran país. Pero inmigración le ha frustrado su sueño y lo tiene detenido. Nosotros solo queremos una única oportunidad para colaborar con este país, construir con este país, porque nosotros somos gente de bien.
Arturo is a good boy. He has done nothing wrong. He has no criminal record, except that except for him coming into this country undocumented. He's a good boy. He has done nothing wrong, and we're here to demand that immigration do the right thing and let this young man go, because he's here to try to achieve his dreams.
Quiero rápidamente contarles la situación por la que muchos jóvenes como Arturo tienen que emigrar a este gran país, porque aquí tenemos libertad. En nuestro país, lamentablemente, El Salvador, tenemos un gran problema. El problema es las maras, las pandillas, que obligan a estos muchachos a ser criminales.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going on in my country and why Arturo came here. There's a huge problem with violence in my country, in El Salvador. The gangs are going after the young people to make them join. Young people like my nephew, Pedro Arturo.
La pandilla elige a este muchacho y le dice, tienes que unirte a nosotros. Si no te unes con nosotros, te matamos a ti o matamos a un familiar.
The gangs tell our young people that they have to join. If they don't join, they will kill them or they will kill off a family member.
Y si alguien como Arturo decide, por salvar su vida o la de un familiar, entrar y unirse a la pandilla, estos pandilleros tienen un pacto de sangre. Le dicen, para que pruebes que tú tienes el valor de estar con nosotros y para que la pandilla sea tu familia, tienes que demostrarlo matando a un familiar o una persona inocente.
These gangs tell us they have a blood pact. Once you join, you have to kill somebody in order to prove your loyalty to the gang.
This is very important for everybody to understand. There's no choice for these young people in El Salvador. I say it's very terrible situation over there for this young boy. As soon as the gang members chose them, we have no choice. They have no choice to be a criminals. And like my nephew, Pedro Arturo Salmerón, he's running away from their problem. And I ask to who can do it, immigration or anybody, to stop this deportation. We ask for the chance to be in this great country. We ask to anyone who can, to the president or anybody who can, they give us the chance, the opportunity for these boys to be here and be part of this great country, like in the beginning. Come here looking for freedom. The immigration take it away right now on these boys. Thank you very much, and God bless America. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much.
Good morning. We are here today to be a part of history, to give our children and our children's children hopes to a better change. So today I'm going to talk about change. I'm going to list House bills that have affected us each and every day. House Bill 318, the Protect North Carolina Workers Act, a law that forces North Carolina residents that are struggling to find and keep a job into deeper hunger and poverty by denying access tens of thousands of childless adults food stamps. I remember the Medicaid reform bill, a bill that you said that you would help people, but then turned around and denied Medicaid expansion. I remember how they ignored the health care access of 500,000 people here in North Carolina and failed to address health care disparities. I remember you voted to eliminate EITC, better known as Earned Income Tax Credit, a tool proven to lift working women and families out of poverty just because you wanted to save a buck and build yachts for the rich. I remember the voter ID bill, a bill that shortens early voting and requires voter ID. That's what I remember. I remember Malcolm X he said, so early in life I have learned that you want something, you have to make noise. That is what I remember. We have been taken. We have been had. We have been hoodwinked. We have been bamboozled. They have ran amok and led astray. This is what our so-called leaders have done for us. And ladies, it's time that we let them know that we are tired and you either stand with us or stand out of our way because we are coming for you. And this is our time. Thank you. That's right.
Hello. My name is Kim Porter, and I'm a community organizer for NC Warn, a 28-year-old climate watchdog nonprofit that fights climate change. We're proud to be 10-year members of HKonJ and celebrate this anniversary with you all today. It's a moral issue and an environmental justice issue when we worry about the water we drink, the air we breathe, and the food we eat, because they're contaminated by toxins created by coal ash, methane gas leakage, and other corporate-made pollution. We have a right to affordable, clean energy and shouldn't get risk of dying or being sick because of fossil fuels, especially when we can get renewable energy from the sun, water, and wind. We must fight climate change now before we run out of time. People of color and those from low-income families are often the most affected by climate catastrophe and the least responsible for creating it. Fossil fuels need to stay in the ground. If climate change is not drastically addressed, sea levels could rise up to 10 feet within the next 50 years, making ocean communities dysfunctional. Duke Energy is the biggest emitter of greenhouse gases in the United States and the largest corporate utility in the world. And as we stand together, united for justice, next to the Duke Energy Center, right here, it's a great opportunity for us to hold them accountable. All right, Duke gets corporate welfare in the forms of millions in tax breaks while they make billions in profits at our expense. They greenwash the facts and only utilize 4% renewable energy in the next 15 years. We've got to stop burning fossil fuels, stop blocking competition, and stop polluting our government. And we, the people, are fed up with politicians who allow corporations to influence them. We're not backing down as we mobilize people to speak out and to vote to change our local, state, and national agenda. We must get out the vote to help protect the environmental justice, labor, civil, immigration, healthcare, and voting rights for all of us. And we'll keep fighting the politicians who support monopolies like Duke by voting them out. Thank you.
Hello, how's everybody doing today? First of all, let's get it right. Say, this is the mass moral march on Raleigh, HKonJ, People's Assembly. This is our Selma. This is our time. This is our vote. I know it's cold out here, but turn to your neighbor and say, they marched against dogs and lynchings and hangings and burnings and shootings, the KKK, the red shirts, Jim Crow. If they could stand the heat, we can stand the cold for justice. We've got to make a few adjustments to the program. We want everybody to be reminded of their time limits in speaking. I need to set a couple of things. Let's thank Ajamu Dillahan and Reverend Michelle Laws for leading us. Get close to somebody. Say you get close to me and you'll be a little warmer. Yeah, get close to somebody. Now, number one, let me read something to you so we'll be clear that we're not just out here just marching for fun. Dr. King said in his book, Where Do We Go From Here? While the existence of a militant morale is immediately important, a fighting spirit that is insufficiently organized can become useless and even hazardous. Today's march is about organizing. And at the end of this march, we're going to do a mass organizing. And we need to sign up thousands of you to join a volunteer army. So let me see that card again. So everybody needs one of these. Turn to your neighbor and say, do you have one? You got to get one. Do you have one? Now we're getting ready to march right now so we can get walking and get out of this shade. We need to get in the sun. Now let me say something. I got to clean up something. I hate to do this, but you know, nobody is going to make this movement look bad. Now, we told every campaign that they could come, but their principals can't speak. For 10 years, we have not held this stage for politicians. This is the people's stage. The people you heard first up here today were advocates. The people that you will hear on the other place will be impacted people. People who've been impacted by the policies that will make a call for people to vote. Now, the Moral Monday movement will not be used by any campaign. Trump, Cruz, Sanders, Clinton. That's not what we do. We don't endorse candidates. We endorse issues. And we told the political campaigns, you could come, wear your t-shirts, but we couldn't have 1,000 Trump signs out here, or 1,000 Bernie signs out here, or 1,000 Hillary signs out here, or 1,000 Cruz signs out here, or 1,000 McCory signs out here, or 1,000 Cooper signs out here, because then it would look like this is a political campaign and not a policy campaign and an organizing campaign. Now, I don't know who you endorse, and I ain't ready to endorse nobody personally yet because I haven't heard enough yet. First of all, none of them talking about voting rights. We've had 10 debates and nobody talking about voting rights. But I was told in the back that somebody, I prayed that it wasn't the Sanders campaign, but somebody put on daily calls that we told them they couldn't come. That's a damn lie. Don't mess with this movement. That's a damn lie. You can come, but you can't have the movement. You can't hijack the movement. Whoever you are supporting, that's fine. But we are supporting economic sustainability, addressing poverty, and labor rights. We are supporting educational equality for every child. We are supporting health care for all, and women's health, and environmental justice. We are supporting criminal justice reform and dealing with the disparities that affect black, brown, and poor white people. And we are supporting protecting and expanding voting rights and the LGBTQ rights and immigrant rights and labor rights and the fundamental principle of equal protection under the law. We don't care if you're Democrat, if you're Republican, or if you're independent. We're going to hold you accountable. This movement started when Democrats were in office. This movement has existed when Republicans in our office, because the truth is all of them have to be held in accountability if we're going to fight for the people. So I hope y'all will tell somebody they need to take that down, because we are the movement of the people. Now that I finished my one cuss for the year, tell you about somebody, we ain't mad with nobody, just wrong and injustice. Let me give this back to Reverend Law so we can get marching so she can give you instructions.
Thank you, Reverend Barber. We'll see you on the other side. Good morning. We are the elders, and we ain't no ways tired yet. No ways tired. We woke up this morning with our minds stayed on freedom, and we hope you are there as well. We've been marching and walking and talking for 50 years, but more than just marching, we are voting and we're fighting for the right to vote. So let me bring on one of my brothers, the Dr. James Forbes from Union Theological Fellowship for Institute from Riverside Church. Dr. Forbes.
Brothers and sisters, I am more delighted than you can imagine to have the opportunity to make an announcement here today. You will not be surprised when I tell you that 63 years ago, I made a speech inside this building. It was my valedictory speech when I graduated from Washington High School 63 years ago. But I have the most important announcement that I suspect I will ever make in my life to make here today. It is in response to Dr. Barber's question. What is the theological basis of the urgency we feel to engage in voting rights and voting registration and voter mobilization? It is my good pleasure to give you an announcement. My announcement is supposed to tell you what heaven's investment is in why we are engaged in this movement. So let me read from high heaven. May I share with you an insight that came to my homiletical imagination regarding the election of Barack Obama as the president in 2008. There is a tradition in heaven that when a person has arrived through a martyr's death, having shed blood for the cause of justice, peace, and compassion, there will be an observance of a 40th year anniversary of their great sacrifice. You will recall that in 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in April of that year, and Bobby Kennedy was killed in June of the same year. Dr. King had said in his speech in Memphis that we as a people will get to the promised land. Bobby Kennedy had predicted that in a few years there would be a black president of the United States. So, heaven arranged to do something unusual in 2008 to show both Bobby Kennedy and Martin King that they had not died in vain. Therefore, it was arranged that the first African American president would be elected in honor of their heroic sacrifice for justice and peace. Now, here's the announcement. It will come as no surprise to you that plans are being made in heaven right now for the celebration for the 50th anniversary of the demise of Martin Luther King Jr. and Bobby Kennedy. It will take place in 2018. Now, how blessed we are to receive advance notice that the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy will be the occasion of a heaven-sponsored Jubilee Justice celebration. Everybody say Jubilee, Justice, celebration. But King and Kennedy have asked, when they have the 50th celebration, that will be in 2018, it cannot be for Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King, because so many thousands more have died a martyr's death on the streets of the United States of America. So 2018 will be Jubilee Justice celebration, not only in memory of King and Kennedy, but you name them, the ones who have died since then. Name them out there. Who are they? Name them. Trayvon, who else? Tammy, who else? Name them. You name them. 2018, we bunched them all together in a class action of martyrs who've laid down their lives for justice. And on Jubilee Justice, we will have the occasion not to think alone of Dr. King's dream, but the dream of the Creator from whom Dr. King got his dream. Brothers and sisters, there is a problem. In order to have a real celebration in 2018, we have to begin now making sure that the climate in the United States of America is right for the celebration of Jubilee Justice. Therefore, you cannot wait on 2018. Right now, we have to begin to cast a vote to make sure that the government, the executive branch, the legislative branch, the judiciary branch, as well as the culture of the United States of America will be ready for Jubilee Justice. It will not happen unless right now you begin to get everybody you know who loves justice, regardless of their race, their creed, their color, their previous conditions of servitude. Tell them to get ready right now. I want you to start practicing voting when you get up in the morning. Pull a lever everywhere you go. Tell everybody you know, you better get your butt up and get ready to cast a vote for heaven's Jubilee Justice. I'm telling you, don't wait. Don't wait. It's not just about presidents. It's not just about congresspersons. It's not just about whatever policy they're developing. We're going to vote for heaven. Everybody say Jubilee Justice. A vote for heaven. A vote for all the martyrs. And we are starting it today. I'll see you in 2018. But this time, every time the polls open, you be there. They ask you why you're voting. I'm voting to get ready for Jubilee Justice Celebration 2018. God bless you.
And let's give Dr. Forbes a round of applause once again. Yes, indeed. So as I said, we are the elders. Joining me on the stage this morning, Joseph McNeil. Joe, raise your hand. Joe was one of the first of 4 who sat down at Woolworth's in Greensboro, North Carolina, February 1, 1960, so that you can continue to stand up. Beside him is his lifelong friend and also fellow sit-in person, Louis Brander, who also continues to work with us every day in Greensboro, North Carolina. But right now, I want to bring on Brother Bob Zellner, one of the earlier white members of SNCC. Bring on Brother Bob Zellner.
Thank you, Sister Joyce. I'm Bob Zellner, and I joined SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, in the second Reconstruction. We did things young enough then so we can participate in this second Reconstruction and now in the third Reconstruction in North Carolina. What started in North Carolina is not going to end in North Carolina. It's going all over the country. And one of the things we're doing in the Forward Together Moral Fusion movement is we're bringing poor, white, and working class white Southerners together with black people and all the other people and taking them away from the establishment. Those poor white Southerners and working class white Southerners have supported the economic program of the 1% to their own detriment, and they are going to end it now. So let's get together.
We have come to the capital city of North Carolina to make our voices heard. Our vote counts. Our nation is unraveling and fraying. We came today as a moral voice of unity for the youth and the elders. We have come on a cold Saturday morning to say we ain't no ways tired yet. Now is the time to rise up out of the divisiveness and be a great united people. Now is the time to see that all the issues are connected. Whether it is labor or job or whatever it is, they're all connected. So let's make a decision to vote. Now is the time. Somebody said last night, vote or die. And so now we're going to light the candles that symbolizes merging of the light between the generations. Pass it to this young lady right here. Pass it to me right here. Woo! Elder, youth, elder, youth, elder, youth, elder, youth, elder, let's march.
Oh, this the light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this the light of mine, I'm gonna
Are you really going to march on Saturday? It's going to be freezing cold. You know what I've said to that question?
Come on.
You know what's cold?
Come on.
Our elected leaders sitting in our house over there on Jones Street, voting not to expand health care and save lives of hundreds of thousands of people in North Carolina. That's what's cold. You want to know what's cold? Our legislators sitting in our house over there on Jones Street, voting to privatize education at the expense of strong public schools. That's what's cold. You want to know what's cold? Our representatives sitting over there in our house on Jones Street, voting to take away women's rights and enacting hateful legislation toward our state's most vulnerable people, immigrants, Muslims, the working poor, the mentally ill. That's what's cold in North Carolina. And you want to know what else is cold in North Carolina? Our elected leaders sitting over there in our house, voting, suppressing our right to vote as the people of North Carolina, a right that has been won with blood, sweat, and tears and the lives of our elders and our ancestors. That's what's frigid cold. Cold is not just an outside temperature. There is a moral coldness that we must be more concerned about. And it is this moral coldness that brings all of us together here in Raleigh on this day to march for justice. For you know what? This is our Selma. This is our time. This is our vote. And we all count it a privilege to march on this cold February morning for justice. Forward together. Reverend Gatewood, my co-MC. I'm Nancy Petty. Reverend Gatewood, come join us.
When I say, what do you want? You say justice. What do you want? Justice. What do you want? Justice. What do you want? Justice. Good morning. Tomorrow march in Raleigh, HKonJ People's Assembly. We are here 107 years after founders such as Ida B. Wells, W.E.B. Du Bois, white and Jewish partners alike came together on a cold day in February to begin an anti-lynching campaign and social justice movement, what became known as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. Here we are, 10 years later, whereby the NAACP President, Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II, convened a meeting with other partners and experts in the areas of civil rights, political science, law, labor, health, LGBTQ, youth work, organizing, religion, peace advocacy, environmental justice, education, and other areas of the social justice movement came together and put together a 14-point People's Agenda. Does anyone remember the 14-point People's Agenda? And then they became historic thousands on Jones Street, known as HKonJ, became the foundation of Moral Mondays. Moral Monday, are you with me? A forward together movement. And 10 years later, as we celebrate, we simultaneously stand here on a cold morning together to bring social and societal warmth to 1.7 million North Carolinians who are living in poverty. And whether 365 days of the year, we are here to say we're going to stop legislative terrorism. We're going to stop police terrorism. We're going to stop any type of terrorism that will rain down the terror of injustice and poverty. Therefore, we're here to say we have over 600,000 children who are living in poverty. This is why we are here to say we're going to stand together and say forward together and not one step back. We are here to bring and use the ballot, the courts, the streets, our faith, and to say to this nation, we are not going backwards. We've been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the hat. We say no to Jim Crow, and we're not going back. We are in a cold state here in North Carolina where black lives are statistically becoming more and more targets of excessive force, wrongful death, domestic terrorism, and misconduct. We are becoming a cold state where the Confederate flag may not hang over the Capitol, but more are sold here in North Carolina than in any other state. We're in a cold state where politicians have become more interested in protecting statues of the Confederate flag than they are interested in protecting black lives. But this is what I'm here to say. They denied us because they could divide us. They lied to us, but now God is beside us to guide us to demand jobs, justice, education under one God, one nation. If you're ready to get out and vote, say yeah. If you're ready to race to somebody today, say yeah. If you're ready to organize, say yeah. Well, we are here to say to North Carolina and the United States of America, we are back. We are not going anywhere. We are going forward together, not one step back.
The reason we're 10 years strong is because there is something inside so strong. There's something inside when they deny us our rights, try to block our way. Something inside so strong.
All the youth advocacy right up here together. All the youth advocacy.
The faster I will run. You can deny it. You can decide to turn your back away. No matter what. Inside so strong. Something inside so strong. Know that I can make it. I can make it. When my pride was gone.
My name is Ajamu Dillahunt. I'm a member of Black Workers for Justice and a freshman at North Carolina Central University. There is a war on Black America, and in response to that war, we have one simple request. We want to live. We want to end to systematic disenfranchisement. We know voting is a major tool in participating in democracy, and it should be accessible to everybody. The right to vote historically has been under attack, and it's under attack today. There have been efforts to decrease the number of voter precincts on college campuses. Our enemies are doing this because they know the power we have as students. But engaging in democracy goes beyond voting. We must hold these elected officials accountable, and the way in which we do that is community-based grassroots organizing. A perfect example of holding those in power accountable is the Black Lives Matter movement. It's important to have a clear and full understanding of what it means when we say Black Lives Matter. It means we want self-determination. We want to end to the school-to-prison pipeline. We want to end the mass incarceration, police violence, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia. One of the most uplifting aspects of the Black Lives Matter movement is ensuring all Black lives matter, and centering Black women, queer, and trans folks in this movement and understanding the vital role they play in the struggle for liberation. We must support them. And it means Black Lives Matter in the workplace too. And finally, we have to build an anti-patriarchal movement to achieve true Black liberation and a third reconstruction in our beloved South. None of us are free until all of us are free. Forward together. Forward together.
Good morning. We are members of the state North Carolina NAACP's Youth and College Division of the Executive Committee. I am Vashti Hinton.
And I'm Sunny Osmond. Now say it with us.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
There is a crisis in our schools. They're not safe for students of color. They're supposed to be equalizers.
North Carolina's Constitution requires them to provide equal opportunities for all students, but our schools are breaking that promise. They are becoming pipelines to prison.
Last year, Black students made up a quarter of North Carolina students, and they were 4 times more likely than their white counterparts to be suspended or expelled for the same infraction.
Our schools have been criminalized with armed cops called school resource officers whose presence has increased by about 476% over the last 20 years.
This is not equal opportunity. This is robbing opportunity. It is unconstitutional and it is immoral.
We know it works. North Carolina's brown and Black youth deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, not branded as problems. We need more counselors in our schools and fewer police.
We need more funding for teachers in schools and less for detention centers and prisons. We need policies that promote integration and diversity, not exodus and isolation.
It's time to put our tax dollars towards teacher pay raises. It's time to take the cops out of schools and put more guidance counselors in.
When we criminalize students of color, we say your lives don't matter.
Tell Governor McCoy, tell Senator Berger, tell Speaker Moore.
Tell your school board and superintendent, your principal, your sheriff, and police.
Tell them from your streets, from your churches.
Tell them from the courtroom and from the ballot box. Tell them our liberation is bound up together. Tell them Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! You can do better than that. This is the hour for youth power. Somebody say youth power. Say youth power. All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring up a great segment of partners. Our Latino and immigrant community have been under attack. We're going to first introduce you or allow our liaison for the North Carolina NAACP, Sister Anna Blackburn, to come and bring them on. Let's give her a big hand.
Good afternoon. As a North Carolina Latino liaison, it is my privilege to introduce, for immigrant justice, the speakers this morning will be led by Carmen Rodriguez. Yeah! There you go. Antonio Salazar, and then followed by Gregorio Gregorio Morales, followed by Antonio Salazar.
You have a lot of love out there.
We want justice! Please stop deportation! My name is Carmen Rodriguez and I am part of the group Yes to License NC. Y alzamos la voz una vez más contra las leyes antiinmigrantes. Como persona directamente afectada, vivo día a día las consecuencias de las políticas de un gobierno que no nos quiere, pero que nos usa para aprovecharse de nuestro trabajo, sin reconocer nuestros derechos. A pesar de que aportamos más de 7.5 billones de dólares a la economía del Estado. We make America great! We make America great!
You make America great.
We are here to raise our voices once more against anti-immigrant laws. As a directly affected person, I live day after day the consequences of the policies of a government. Of a government that doesn't want us, but still wants to use us to take advantage of our labor without recognizing our rights. Despite the fact that we contribute more than $7.5 billion to the state's economy.
Prueba de estas iniciativas antiinmigrantes fue la aprobación del HB 318, con la cual nos aislaron y nos quitaron uno de los únicos medios de identificación que teníamos. Además, nos siguen negando el acceso a una licencia de conducir, sembrando así el miedo al ser arrestado, lo cual podría llevar a una deportación. Sin una identificación, no nos sentimos con confianza de reportar abusos contra nuestra comunidad. Esto es injusto y es una burla. No nos cansaremos de exigir justicia e igualdad para todos. No papers, no fear. No papers, no fear. No papers, no fear.
Proof of these anti-immigrant laws was the passage of HB 318. With this law, they marginalized us by taking away one of the only types of identification that we had. On top of that, they keep on denying us access to driver's licenses, forcing us to live in constant fear that an arrest for a traffic offense could lead to deportation. Without an ID, we don't feel like we can report abuses against our community to the authorities. This isn't fair, it's an insult, and we won't rest until we win justice and equality for all.
Mi nombre es Antelmo Salazar, soy activista de la organización GenFAC Henderson Fuerza Activa.
My name is Antelmo Salazar, and I am an activist from GenFAC Henderson Fuerza Activa.
Para que las leyes racistas, absurdas y antimigrantes no tengan el efecto de perjudicar a nuestra comunidad latina, les hago una invitación a todas las organizaciones a que motivemos a nuestra comunidad para que nos unamos y defendamos juntos nuestros derechos.
To put an end to these absurd, racist, and anti-immigrant laws that are damaging our Latino community, I call upon all organizations to motivate their bases, to unite and defend our rights together.
Invitemos a los ciudadanos americanos, en especial a los jóvenes que vayan a cumplir o que tengan más de 18 años, a que se registren si aún no lo han hecho, para que puedan ejercer el derecho al voto.
We ask that all U.S. citizens, especially young people who are turning 18, register to vote so you can exercise that right.
A los padres de familia les pedimos que motivemos a nuestros hijos a ejercer el derecho a votar, porque cada voto hace la diferencia para que los gobernantes no decidan nuestro futuro. No olviden que su voto cuenta.
We ask that parents motivate our children to take advantage of the right to vote, because every vote makes a difference, to keep the powers that be from deciding our future for us. Don't forget that your vote counts.
En Carolina del Norte parte, hay muchos ciudadanos que aún no se han registrado para votar. Ya es tiempo que esto cambie, pero no va a cambiar si todos juntos no nos comprometemos a registrar más votantes. Así que, mi gente, pongámonos de pie y dejemos de ser espectadores.
In North Carolina, there are too many citizens who haven't registered vote, and it's time for this to change. But it won't change if we don't all come together to register more voters. So my people, let's stand up and stop being spectators.
Salgamos a las calles de cada uno de nuestros vecindarios, condados y distritos y registremos votantes como nunca antes lo hemos hecho.
Let's go out into the streets of our neighborhoods, counties, and districts, and let's register voters like never before.
Alza la voz, tú eres la diferencia, tú eres el cambio y necesitamos tu apoyo en esta lucha.
Lift up your voice, you are the difference, you are the change, and we need your support in this struggle.
Muchas gracias a todos.
Thank you so much.
Please stop deportation. Please stop deportation. Please stop deportation. Gracias, mi nombre es Gregorio Morales. Soy inmigrante indocumentado y represento al Comité Popular Somos Raleigh. Estoy aquí una vez más para traer al presente el caso de reforma migratoria una vez y otra vez y otra vez. 29 años han pasado desde la última reforma migratoria. Han sido 29 años de represión, separación y dolor. Y estoy aquí para denunciar a los eternos opositores de la reforma. Dígase Cleveland, dígase Session, dígase Ted Cruz, que siendo hispano es uno de los más antiinmigrantes y peligrosos para nuestra comunidad.
My name is Gregorio Morales, and I am an undocumented immigrant, and I represent the Comité Popular Somos Raleigh, the popular committee We Are Raleigh. I'm here to bring forward the issue of immigration reform again, and again. 29 years have passed since the last reform. 29 years of repression, separation, and pain. I'm here to denounce those who constantly oppose reform, such as Cleveland, King, Sessions, and also to denounce Rafael Eduardo Cruz, better known as Ted Cruz, who is Hispanic and is the most anti-immigrant and dangerous for our community.
Soy activista. Hoy confronto al poder establecido y mañana sigo haciendo la parte que me corresponde, trabajando, creando empleos, pagando impuestos y contribuyendo a la grandeza de este país. Son muchos los factores que nos hacen inmigrar: pobreza extrema, hambre, represión, violencia y corrupción.
I'm an activist today, and I confront the powers that be, and tomorrow I will continue doing my part, working, creating jobs, paying taxes, and contributing to the greatness of this country.
Los agentes de inmigración han visitado nuestros vecindarios estos días y han arrestado mujeres y niños. Si ustedes se preocupan por gentes como nosotros, por favor, salgan y voten. Por favor, salgan y voten. Por favor, salgan y voten. Gracias.
Please get out to vote. Please get out to vote. Please get out to vote. Thank you.
Forward together! Representing women's rights, Trina Longacre will come now and speak.
All right.
Hi, I'm 35 years old and I've lived in North Carolina all my life. Over the years, the issues we're all working on together have become personal to me. 3 years ago, I left an abusive marriage and became a single mom. The best work I could find was a third shift job cleaning offices. I was responsible for caring for my disabled aunt and uncle, along with my preteen daughter. I also began online training to start a new career. I kept working though, and my hard work began to pay off. I was building my career and empowering my daughter at the same time. All of that was thrown into doubt when I was in a car wreck. Years after I sustained my injury, I finally became eligible for Medicaid. My fiance, Tony, covers what state benefits do not. I am lucky to have Tony. He has cared for me in every possible way since I've become injured. I have met people in similar situations to mine. They do not have a Tony to help care for them. With no one to help them through the hard times, sometimes folks end up struggling just to make ends meet, and their families suffer too. I'm grateful that my family, me, Tony, and my amazing daughter, Ashley, is together and strong and with me today. But not every family is so lucky. Maybe some of you here know what it's like. I was barely able to walk, and I needed a knee surgery that I could not afford. I fell into the Medicaid gap and got stuck there. Although I was working, I was also a single mom not receiving child support. Healthcare for myself was a luxury I could not afford. So I did what I had to do, working on my injured knee without proper medical treatment until I could no longer walk. There's a simple remedy for families in need, expanding Medicaid. It is past time for our state government to step up and stand with women and families in North Carolina. Healthcare is a human right and necessary for survival. Thank you all for standing with North Carolina women and families and fighting for these rights that we all deserve.
All right. If you're marching for women's rights, let's hear it. Yeah. A year ago, this past Wednesday, 3 UNC students were murdered in Chapel Hill. Today, speaking to us is one of those young people's brother. Dia Bearcat was gunned down because of hate a year ago this Wednesday. His brother Ferris Bearcat comes now to talk with us.
Good morning. My name is Ferris Bearcat, the founder of the Lighthouse Project. A year ago yesterday, over 8,000 persons gathered at the funeral of 3 American Muslims.
That's right.
3 Muslims killed in their apartment, execution style.
My Lord.
Dia Barakat. My bad. Yusr Abu Salha and Razan Abu Salha. Dia and Yusr had just gotten married 6 weeks earlier. A year ago yesterday, 3 bodies of young Muslims mixed their blood with this soil. A year ago yesterday, snow fell peacefully as we buried them in their graves. Their last names, now more than ever, are American names, as they were born and buried here. A year ago yesterday was the first chapter of yet another American story, a story yet to be reclaimed by its rightful owners. A story still told by disinterested and negligent storytellers. Today they tell me that Dia, Yusr, and Razan were murdered because of an ongoing dispute over a parking space. Wow. As if Rosa Parks' struggle was an ongoing dispute over a bus seat. I will reclaim that narrative not only because I owe Dia, Yusr, and Razan an honest eulogy, but because I owe it to the 8,000 others who attended that funeral hoping for a better future. I owe it to my country. In Dia, Yusr, and Razan, Muslims across the world saw their children, their siblings, and themselves. In Craig Hicks, they saw the daily encounters of anti-Muslim bigotry and hate. They began to feel ever more unguarded and unprotected. Some even began to question America herself. For who is America? Has she not promised us all the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Yes. How then was my brother not even afforded life? Brothers and sisters, I will walk side by side with anyone who understands the importance of reclaiming the Muslim American narrative as part of reclaiming the larger American one. I want our political leaders to understand that if they continue to hate monger, they must be held accountable. I want to know that my Muslim brothers and sisters can practice their beautiful faith without fear of being targeted for how they look. I'm skipping over. Brothers and sisters, Dia, Yusur, and Razan lived a wonderful life. A life that's to die for. The burden is now on us. We must learn to listen to each other and to do unto others as we want done to ourselves. It is our time. It is our vote. Thank you, and God bless.
If you're on another street, come on over to Fayetteville Street. Let's fill in Fayetteville Street. How many of y'all know we got to lean on one another in this time? I'm gonna step out of the way, but I just had to say that. Come on Harker Street. Wave your hands in the air and let's have a 45-second party.
Download that. When did you do that?
Next, for education, we're going to bring up Sister Holly Jordan, a teacher. Let's give her a big hand.
My name is Holly Jordan, and I'm a high school English teacher and a proud member of the North Carolina Association of Educators. One of my many favorite things about teenagers is how often they challenge themselves, their teachers, and the confines of their world by asking really good questions. Here are 2 questions my students have been asking me lately. 1, now that I'm 18, why should I vote? And 2, why are you going to be outside in the freezing cold on Saturday morning? Strangely enough, my answer to those 2 questions are exactly the same, and I bet they are for y'all as well. I told my students I'm out here today with thousands of North Carolinians who march in the cold and who vote for the same reasons that I do. We march and we vote against fascism and hate. We march and we vote to defend public schools against attacks from legislators who are destroying them through underfunding and privatization. We march and we vote so that ICE raids can't abduct children who are on their way to school, and so that all immigrants and refugees are safe and welcome in our public schools and in our state. We march and we vote to tell America that Black lives matter. We march and we vote so that politicians don't turn over the care of our most vulnerable students to private companies through the use of achievement school districts. We march and we vote so that transgender and gender non-conforming students are able to use the bathrooms in which they feel safe. We march and we vote because North Carolina's students deserve everything we can give them. We march and we vote because we're going forward together, not one step back.
Yeah! All right, here we go. We're going to have some speakers rally for us around health care and environmental justice, labor and economics, and equal protection under the law. Let's give them a hand as they come speak to us.
I'm Dr. Charlie Vanderhorst, and I'm representing healthcare workers who believe North Carolinians have a right to health care and a right to health insurance. 2 years after the Affordable Care Act is passed, 31 states have expanded Medicaid, including 13 led by Republican governors and legislatures, but not North Carolina. We're here to remind the Governor McCrory and our legislature of the impact of their decision to block Medicaid expansion, the avoidable costs, the intolerable cruelty, the unnecessary deaths. If we expanded Medicaid, 430,000 working North Carolinians would have health insurance. They're your neighbors. They greet you at Walmart. They sew your clothes. They take care of your children. They take care of your sick parents. They flip your burgers at McDonald's. Without health care, they get terrible diseases and death. If we expanded every year, these folks, 1,000 North Carolinians die for want of health insurance. I'm a doctor and I represent healthcare workers. If we saw someone holding a gun to our patients' heads, we would jump in and intervene. Our governor is holding a gun to our patients' heads. This is our Selma. This is our time. This is our vote. Vote!
Yes. Good morning, Raleigh. Good morning. How's everybody? My name's Adam O'Neill. I'm a Republican mayor from Belhaven, North Carolina. You might say, what's a Republican doing here today? Well, I want to tell you why I'm here. I believe there's issues where we can work together. Medicaid expansion is one of them. We've got a legislature right now that's not stepping to the plate and doing what's right. And we need something to be done about that. In our little town of Belhaven, North Carolina, when a $1 billion company came in and defrauded our community out of our health care, where I learned to work with others is when the Democrats wouldn't come help us, the Republicans wouldn't come help us, the Independents wouldn't come help us, Reverend Barber, the NAACP came to help us. That's the sort of thing that has to take place in this country. We have issues that divide us. We have to find issues that bring us together. Because when we work together, we get confidence in each other, we believe in each other, and we can tackle other items as well. In Belhaven, we're fighting to reopen our hospital, and we're within 8-10 months, I think, of that happening. But we're still dealing with the corporation and their loyalists trying to keep our hospital away from us, even though we have money to reopen it. But we will battle on, we will fight through those obstacles, and we will have a hospital in Belhaven. This country has got to start paying attention to the poor and the working class once again. They're being forgotten about. Thank you very much.
All right,
I'm Tracy Edwards of Walnut Cove, North Carolina, in Stokes County. My community has been exposed to toxic chemicals for over 40 years, and it's simply because we as citizens didn't know what was happening to our environment. I'm here today speaking about environmental justice. I had three strokes and a heart attack at age 44 because of living near the Duke Energy coal-fired plant, not only from the emissions, but also from the coal ash and the coal ash mounds that are currently in my neighborhood. It's seeping into our water. We have a community that have clusters of cancer, strokes, heart disease. We have a community that is suffering. We also have had core drilling in our community for hydraulic fracturing. In an area already devastated with illnesses, it was hard to believe our local officials would be on board with such a decision that would burden our community with even more exposure to toxic chemicals. Living in an area that is predominantly African American, we were being sacrificed for the good of the power or gas companies. Something had to be done and fast. Our community spoke with our town commissioners and our county commissioners about the halting of our fracking in our community. They didn't seem to want to hear us. So we did what we had to do. We unseated 2 of our commissioners by getting out and voting. We are not by any means finished yet. We plan to continue our voting out of those who are not acting in our best interest. Because you've got to give the people what they want. You got to give the people what they want. This is our Selma. This is our time. This is our vote.
Good morning. My name is Bishop Tanya Rawls, and I am the founder and executive director of the Freedom Center for Social Justice and pastor of Sacred Souls Community Church in Charlotte. I'm also the wife of Gwendolyn Rawls, a mother, a grandmother, and I am mad as you know what. 4 years ago, I attended a rally, not too dissimilar from this, fewer people, but we were standing for voting rights. I stood next to a black veteran in his 70s, and we had a conversation, and he talked to me about the fact that he had, for the first time, not voted Democratic, and that even though he knew that John McCain would probably lead us into a war, and he did not agree with those policies, he said he was voting because Obama just might support gay marriage. Just might, I said, support gay marriage. Let me set the record straight. Number one, your marriage did not fail because my loving 16-year relationship with my wife is now protected under the law. Our state is not stronger or more just because some government workers won't serve LGBTQ people on the grounds of religious refusals. Your children are at no greater risk because some transgender children are allowed to go to the restroom that aligns with their gender. People must stop allowing political machines to throw out words like gay, lesbian, bi, and transgender to sway your vote in ways that do not make your life or the lives of future generations better. That's right. Differences are not to be feared, North Carolina. They are a part of what makes us great as a state, as a nation, and as a global community. The greatest right we have as citizens is the right to vote. We must make voting easily accessible to as many people as possible, not see how many people we can exclude. I want to close by saying to the LGBTQ community, so can I just hear a shout out from those that are LGBTQ and affirming? It is our time to stand now for more than just gay issues. Come on now. We are a part of a broader community, one that needs our wisdom, our resources, and our support. It is our time to now stand. We are more than just LGBTQ. Voting rights for all, forward together.
Not one step back.
I said forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
All right. We're getting close now here to hearing Reverend Barber, but before we do, we want to call up Micaiah St. Rain. If you're here marching for peace, let's hear it! Woo!
Thank you very much. I'm Micaiah St. Rain. I am an Army veteran of this nation, and I am so honored to be here today to speak with this passionate, wonderful group of people right here that's changing the world today. We are doing it. You are doing it. Thank you for being here. We are making a difference, even though we're in this state that seems to be going backwards over the last few years. We are denying our veterans health care. I was taught that I was going to be so respected for being a veteran. I have no health care. I have my friends who are sleeping on the streets. I have brothers and sisters with no arms and legs, and they're down on Fort Bragg where the house that they're living in is not even handicapped accessible. This is how we are treating our veterans. And I hope all of
of us today can make a huge difference. The vote is our most powerful weapon. Please remember to register to vote. By this Friday is the deadline for the primary. Friday, February 19th is the deadline to vote in the primary. And please remember to sign out this pledge and vote, sign up, not one step back.
All right.
Forward together. Forward together.
All right, we're going to try a different chant. You're going to repeat after me. Donate together.
Donate together.
Every cent counts.
Every cent counts.
Donate together.
Donate together.
Every cent counts.
Every cent counts.
So it's not quite as catchy, but it is still important. And I am honored to be here to talk to y'all about donating to this movement. As you probably already guessed, this stage, this sound system, these Robotrons, yes, they cost money. And we don't have the Koch brothers or our Pope to cover our tab. Not only do we need help covering what it takes to make this event successful, but the North Carolina NAACP, Democracy North Carolina, and our coalition partners have launched an historic voter empowerment Get Out the Vote campaign. It is statewide, it is long-term, it is issue-based, and yes, you guessed it, it also costs money. We live in a time when we have less voting rights today than we did 50 years ago because of the gutting of the Voting Rights Act. We live in a state with the worst voter suppression law in the country. And we need campaigns like this now more than ever. So I'm gonna ask y'all to get out your phones. All right, get them out of your pockets, and when you have your phone, hold it up in the air. Okay, I'm seeing some folks getting them out, thank you. The front row's doing great. Anyone in the back, get out your phone and lift it into the air. All right. Dr. Spearman's gonna inspire y'all to get out your phones. Dr. Spearman, help me get their phones out.
All right, get your phones out.
Open the text message.
Open the text message.
Y'all got that? Give me a big shout if you have your phone out and you've opened that text message. All righty, all righty.
Wave them in the air like you just don't care. Yeah, that looks better, that looks better. Come on, Lord.
That looks good. Now you are going to put into who you're sending it to the numbers 41444. I'm doing it right now, so is Dr. Spearman, 41444. This is when you're going to decide what you want to pledge to the movement. And really, every little bit helps, whether that be $5, $15, $50, or $500. We need that help, and we appreciate it. So you're going to type in the letters into the message box. Y'all know what I'm talking about because we're texting all the time. NAACP. Y'all got that? Got it. Give me a shout if you are with me up until this point. NAACP. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay, now you're gonna hit a space and you figure out what is it that you're gonna pledge to the movement. How are you gonna help us out? Because we need you here in the streets, in the freezing cold, and you've shown your commitment this way. But this is another way for you to show your support and become a part of this.
Don't be dry.
NAACP space, and I'm gonna put in $20 right here. You just need to do the number 20 or whatever you want to pledge. Then you space and you put in your name. So I'm gonna put Laurel.
Space.
So NAACP space, whatever your pledge is, space, whatever your name is. All right, give me a shout if you're with me here.
All right.
All right, I don't see as many people looking down at their phones as they're shouting, so make sure those votes are going on. All right, so if you got this all set up, put your phones in the air. Let me see some phones in the air. Okay, now hit send together. 1, 2, 3. Send. You're gonna get a link for how you can finish your donation. You might want to do it a little less cold after this rally. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, we are marching for voting rights. We're going to watch a video, and then the Reverend William Barber is going to come and talk to us for a little bit. So let's cue that video.
One day, when the glory comes.
I came to North Carolina having worked in Mississippi and Alabama, where this kind of voter suppression was taking place, thinking that North Carolina was a much more progressive state. And it was for a while, but now I feel as though I'm reliving my life. All of the things that I lived in Mississippi and Alabama, here they are again.
We need more voting instead of less.
We should be trying to encourage people to vote. Encourage our young people to get involved in the political process.
That's your right. The Constitution says that.
But what's happening now, you're discouraging them.
And our rights are being taken away from us.
And the law says very clearly that the state cannot intentionally discriminate against people on the basis of race. And we have instances where the North Carolina General Assembly has sought to discriminate against citizens of this state and their ability to vote.
We went into that courtroom and we were borne up on the wind of the energy and the faith of this movement. This is our Selma.
We as plaintiffs stand together, united in one cause for the people who would ordinarily be deprived of their voting rights.
So this is serious business. Our state, we have always stood strong for the right to vote, and not the two key verbs in here is discourage or intimidate. Those are the verbs that the lawyers and the judges will look at to see whether this law discourages voting.
The governor has talked, I just heard him on the radio, talking about an identification that was needed to purchase certain medications that are used to make drugs, and he compares that to people needing an ID in order to vote. If he doesn't see the difference between those, then North Carolina is really in serious trouble.
There have been a total of 4 lawsuits filed against the redistricting plans, 2 in state court and 2 in federal court. In the federal case, what the court ruled yesterday was that congressional districts 1 and 12 were racial gerrymanders, that they violated the equal protection rights of voters in North Carolina by excessively using race. The majority opinion said, written by Judge Gregory, he said that while the principal architect of these redistricting plans had discretion conceivably to increase the black voting age population to as high as he wanted, he had no discretion to go below 50% plus 1 person black voting age population based on the instructions he received from the legislators. And the court says, quote, "This is the very definition of a racial quota." And where a majority-minority district is created in blatant disregard for fundamental redistricting principles is absurd and stands the Voting Rights Act on its head.
In terms of context, it was this coalition here, HKonJ, that was responsible for enacting all of these laws. When you talk about early voting, this coalition did that. When you talk about same-day registration, this coalition did that. When you talk about straight ticket voting, this coalition pushed for and won those victories. And when people began to respond, this General Assembly, not liking what the results were, decided that they would undermine and destroy all of the progressive legislation that had been passed.
And we should not stand out.
And we are tired, we've been bondage long enough, and we are coming out. We are not going to have it. We're going to fight, fight, fight. Thank you.
I am fed up and fired up. Say fed up. Fired up. Fed up. Fired up. Thank you so very much.
Forward together. You just saw our matriarchs and our lawyers who've been fighting the good fight for voting rights. Let's give a big shout. Now we need you to hang tight for just a few more minutes, because we got to organize. How many of you have those blue cards to sign up? Hold them in the air. The cards, and young people, I need you moving in the crowd. Start moving it. If you do not have a card, everybody needs one. Everybody needs one. Tell your neighbor, don't move, get closer to me.
Come on, get
now,
closer to me.
Listen, Andrew Goodman was murdered for the right to vote, along with Swanner, Cheney, and Goodman. His younger brother is here today. That he sacrificed blood. We're just standing in the cold. Would you welcome David Goodman to this microphone?
That's all right.
Good afternoon. Come on, better than that. Good afternoon. It's nice and warm today. I'm bringing you greetings from New York State, the Empire State. I live near the Canadian border. It's minus 15 right now. We got 50 extra degrees here. Nice and warm. It's a privilege to have the opportunity to stand next to Reverend Barber and speak out for moral imperative of making the most basic right of our democracy, the right to vote, easy, accessible to all citizens. 52 years ago, on June 21st, 1964, my brother Andrew Goodman and his co-workers James Cheney and Michael Schwerner were murdered, premeditated murder, by the Ku Klux Klan.
That's right, yes.
This was in Neshoba County, Mississippi, because they were registering African Americans to vote. Andy was 20 years old. James Cheney was 21 years old. Michael Schwerner was 24 years old. Young men. In our New York City apartment, a couple of weeks before Andy left for the South, my brother told me, I was 17, that most African Americans in Mississippi and throughout the South, but particularly Mississippi, were denied their constitutional right to vote by state-sanctioned segregationists and racists. My brother said, quote, that was just unfair, and he wanted to do something about it, so he joined the mostly white volunteers who were organized by over 100 black organizers. Collectively, they participated in Freedom Summer 1964, one of history's most effective nonviolent actions that resulted in a social revolution and helped pass the Voting Right Act of 1965. On June 25th, 2013, this is like Back to the Future, 49 years and 4 days after my brother was murdered, the U.S. Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. The reason we are here today is that voting rights are threatened again by restrictive laws, practices that make voting overly difficult, inconvenient, and initially and intentionally marginalizing certain citizens. That's why the Andrew Goodman family stands with Moral Monday in its fight. We formed the Andrew Goodman Foundation 50 years ago to continue the legacy of my brother, ordinary people doing extraordinary things in the name of justice. Today we train and support young leaders through our Vote Everywhere program at over 40 colleges in 20 states with a community of over 1 million young adults to register to vote, to remove voting barriers, and to organize their peers for a fair and equitable society. And I'd like to give a shout out to the Andrew Goodman Vote Everywhere student ambassadors from 4 colleges in North Carolina, East Carolina University, Elon University, University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and Western Carolina University. These young adults are the same age as my brother when his life was taken for the fight. On June 24th, 1964, when I was 17-year-old, I became witness to the hatred and fear of oppression and genders. It has changed the course of my entire life. It's why I'm here today standing up for what's right in the nice warm weather of the great state of North Carolina. Under Reverend Barber's leadership, Moral Monday brings the struggle of the civil rights movement into the 21st century. Promise of freedom and equality that democracy holds for ordinary people. Today we are here to remind all Americans of the sacrifice and the blood that bought our right to vote. Today we will register to vote, and on Election Day we will vote so that our voices would be part of building the American dream into one where all people are treated with dignity and respect. Thank you. And God bless all of you working in North Carolina to make Moral Monday an American success. And God bless America.
Let's bring it on. Yara's gonna bring up the Reverend William Barber, but let's hear Yara. Bring us on. Put your hands together for Yara and Reverend Barber.
I know justice is coming. Justice is coming soon. But we got to pray on just a little while longer. Pray on just a little while longer. Oh, pray on just a little while longer. I tell you that I know justice is coming soon. Fight on just a little while longer. Fight on just a little while longer. Oh, fight on just a little while longer. I tell you that I know justice is coming soon. I tell you that I know justice is coming soon. I tell you that I know justice is coming. Justice is coming soon.
So we know that justice is coming soon, and we know that we have to do our part. I'm asking presidents from all over the state to join me here. I've got friends, Mary Kay Henry with SEIU, David Cox with the government employees, Francis Johnson from the Georgia State NAACP, Lisa Harper, who's representing Sojourners with Jim Wallace, and the Auburn Fellows, and all of our matriarchs. We're standing here together. Look at us. We're streaming this all over the nation. Look at the marvelous God's human family. We are black, we are brown, we are white, we are Asian, we are Jewish, we are Christian, we are Muslims, we are Hindus, we are Sikh, we are believers, we are non-believers, we are gay, we are straight, we are old, we are young, we are Republicans, we are Democrats, we're independents, and we're here to stand together as one movement. I want to say some things to us to set a context. And then Bob Hall is going to come and we're going to do some organizing. Turn your neighbor and say organizing. Because if you march but you don't tell people something to do, there was no need of marching. And then while we're doing that, some of my friends are going to give you some words, and then we're going to pick up these cards, and we want the media to see thousands of you sign up. The other night I was trying to write for today, and I was struggling, Carolyn, with what to say. And someone sent me a picture they found of my father. It was 1952. He was 25 years old, one of only 2 black men entering a dual master's program in sociology and religion. And there he was standing, a proud Navy veteran of World War II, a graduate of St. Augustine College, and his voting rights were not protected. There were no black persons in Congress from the South or in the North Carolina legislature, and Jim Crow ruled the land. I was born 11 years after that picture, 2 days after the March on Washington, 15 days before the bombing in Birmingham that blew up 4 little girls, 3 months before the death of Kennedy, and nearly a year before Freedom Summer. So when I was born and my father had 2 master's degrees and a veteran of the Navy working on his doctorate. He had to see his only son at that time born into a society that claimed to be a democracy but still had not protected and secured voting rights. The fight for voting rights is personal for me. Personal. It's not a game. It's not trivial. It's a battle that we had to wage in my lifetime. And it's a battle that we will not turn back from now. The right to vote is at the heart of our democracy. It's at the heart of our democracy, even if it's not always been protected. John Adams in 1763 said, we electors have an important constitutional power that's placed in our hands. Tell your neighbor, it's in your hands. It's in your hands. Frederick Douglass in 1852 said, I have one great political idea, and that idea is righteousness exalteth a nation, and sin is a reproach to any people, and it's my duty to infuse justice into the public mind. Elizabeth Canton Staton once said, our pathway is straight to the ballot box with no variables, no shadow of turning. And speaking about voting, Fannie Lou Hamer, who never refused to let her light shine, said, you can pray all you want, you can pray till you faint, but unless you get up and try to do something, God is not going to put it in your lap. Dr. King said, give us the ballot, 1957, and we will fill our legislative halls with men of goodwill and send to the sacred halls of Congress men and women who will not sign a Southern manifesto, but will sign a manifesto of justice. The 15th Amendment says the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state. Isaiah 10 chapter 1 says, woe unto those who legislate evil and rob the poor of their rights. This is why we're so concerned. When politics is more a struggle over money and manipulation than a struggle over ideas. When we see persons engaging in demobilization and depoliticization, and we see the political implosion of apathy and withdrawal, we have to be concerned because we know history. We oppose those who suppress the vote, because when you suppress the vote, politicians want us to be slaves to their decisions without citizens having the ability to register their discontent at the ballot box. But I heard, Kelly, a long time ago, before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. The right to vote is sacred. Somebody say sacred. And it's personal. Say personal. Personal. This right was won against Jim Crow, against poll taxes, against literacy texts, against lynching, against the Klan. We had to fight against arguments of separate but equal. We had to march. People had to die. Medgar and Swanner and Cheney and Goodman and Viola Woosa and many others. National Guard troops had to protect us. To get the right to vote, we had to pass the Voting Rights Act to secure what had already been promised in the 15th Amendment. So tell your neighbor, shout it as loud as you can. We are not standing, out here in this cold for fun. The right to vote is our right. It's come through many dangerous roads and sacrifices. And any politicians that try to suppress the vote are creating a crime against democracy. When you desecrate the lives and the struggles and the memories of those who fought for the right to vote, it's a crime against democracy. When you pass redistricting laws that stack and pack and bleach black voters, it's a crime. Say a crime. Against democracy. That's why I couldn't understand the utter gall and chutzpah of Senator Rucho and Lewis last week when we won in the federal court. They said the federal courts had thrown the state into chaos. No, what threw the state into chaos were those racist maps that you drew in 2010. Not just because you want to block black people, but because you want to block black and white and Latino people from joining together and forming fusion coalitions in the 21st century. And since this is Lent, I want to suggest to the General Assembly they need to repent. Don't blame the courts, blame yourself. Psychologists tell us that denial and boomeranging blame are the common reflexes of guilty folk. You've been caught, so you might as well repent. We know what they've done in their time. Say in their time. They have caused premature deaths of thousands of North Carolinians by not expanding Medicaid. In their time. They have given the wealthiest 1% huge tax breaks, while they have raised taxes on the middle class and the working poor. Say in their time. In their time, they've cut so much money from public education that we are now one from the bottom, 49th in the country. Say in their time. In their time, they have caused school teachers and university professors and public employees to be underpaid. In their time, they have refused to even acknowledge the scourge of poverty, and they have killed things like the earned income tax credit and refused to raise the minimum wage. In their time. They have divested from our public schools. In their time. They have seized a state that was on a path to voter-owned elections and tried to put elections back in the hands of powerful corporations. In their time. They have passed the worst voter suppression laws in the country. In their time, they have abandoned racial justice and they have stopped trying to end the death penalty. In their time, they have presided over a rapid decline of our state's median household income. In their time, they have attacked the LGBT community and the immigrant community. In their time, they have undermined the basic human rights of all people and of women to have control over their bodies and their health. In their time, they are working to hurt more and more people who are already struggling. In their time, they have removed environmental protection and turned our environment over to groups like Duke Energy and other corporate polluters. In their time, they have undermined the ability to fight climate change by bringing in fracking and supporting the fossil fuel industry over the green economy. In their time, they have refused to acknowledge the human rights of our immigrant brothers and sisters. In their time, they have made it easier to get a gun than it is to vote. That's what they've done in their time. And because they've done that, this is no time to be calm and cool and amenable. This is not a time to accept things. We've been through too much. We've learned too much. We've bled too much. When you mess with the right to vote, you mess with the heart of our democracy. So we've come here to say, you've had your time. But now it's our Selma, it's our vote, and it's our time. It's our Selma, it's our vote, and it's our time. Nobody gave us the right to vote. Our grandmamas died for it. Our grandfathers died for it. Our parents sacrificed for it. Our young people bled for it. And we will fight for it every day. Now, maybe they are stuck in the Jim Crow Old South. That's right. Maybe Jim Crow took off the sheet, went to law school, got a computer, changed his name to James Crow Esquire. But we are not fooled. We have come to serve notice that we will unleash every political, legal, and moral strategy that we can to build a new South. The more you try to suppress the vote, the more we will register the vote. You can't stop the people. You can't stop democracy. We will win. Our best lawyers will fight you. Our best organizers will fight you. Our best preachers will speak the truth. Our best rabbis and imams will tell the story. We will not go back because we've been baptized in the blood of the martyrs. You've had your time, but it's our time now. It's voting time now. Maybe you thought you forgot another election was coming. Maybe you didn't read government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Maybe you thought just because King is dead and Rosa Parks is dead, maybe you forgot they may be dead, but we are their children. Maybe you didn't recognize that we understand it's not just individuals running for office, but black lives is on the ballot. Healthcare is on the ballot. Education is on the ballot. Living wages is on the ballot. LGBTQ is on the ballot. Immigrants' rights is on the ballot. Labor rate is on the ballot. It's our time. It's our time. It's our time. And we know something, Francis. We know something. One whisper can make a dream. One tree can start a forest. One bird can hail the spring. One smile can begin a friendship. One moment can make one fall in love. One star can guide a ship. One word can frame the goal. And one vote can change a nation. It's our time. And I know they say, well, how you gonna win? Come on. Well, we'll read a different history book. Yeah. We may not win every vote, but we are gonna win the battle. Because when we look back over our lives, our parents won with less than we have today. With less, they beat slavery. I wish I had a witness. With less, they beat Jim Crow. With less, they beat lynching. With less, they beat the Ku Klux Klan. With less, Harriet Tubman got 500 people out of slavery. She didn't have Twitter. She didn't have Google. She didn't have email. She didn't have Facebook. With less. Say with less. Thurgood Marshall won. With less. Martin Luther King won. With less. Rosa Parks. Roy Wilkins, Carolyn Coleman, Mary Perry, Rosanelle Eaton, T. Anthony Spearman, Al McShirley. With less. Nelson Mandela beat apartheid. If they could do more with less, we must do more with more. So tell your neighbor, we will win. We're going to use our feet to march for justice. We're going to use our pulpits to sound the alarm. We're going to pray for our enemies. We're going to march to the ballot box. You may try to stop us, but it won't work. You may lie on us, but it will not work. What you meant for evil will be turned to good. No weapon formed against us shall prosper because the Lord is with us. The Lord is our light, our salvation. Whom shall we fear? The Lord is our light, our salvation. Greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. This is our time. This is our vote. Say it with me. This is our time. This is our vote. 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 Glory. 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 It's time to organize. Come on up here, Bob. Come on up here, Bob. Hallelujah. Now we need you to watch us Tell that person, don't you leave now. Because we got to organize. All right. Come here, Bob, right here. Get your cards out. Get your cards out. If I was at church, I'd say, somebody say it! Get your cards out.
Show me your cards.
Everybody. Listen to Brother Bob.
All right.
Give me another mic. Y'all need a hand mic.
Another mic. Show us the cards.
Show us the cards.
Show us the cards. All right, cameras, turn around, look at the cards.
Come on.
Show us the cards, cameras, turn around, look at those cards. This is the moral army. This is the moral army. The army of justice. We shall prevail. All right, anybody who doesn't have a card, we need to get the young people through the crowd to give you a card.
Card. Take this.
Everybody gonna have.
Get reverb in the mic. No, you take that one. I got this. All right. Some of y'all. This is altar call. Say altar call. This is a political altar call.
All right. Everybody got your pens out. Start writing in. We need you to put in your phone numbers and your emails.
Right, read it up. Phone number?
Phone number and email.
Email.
If you put your email in here, you're going to get an email that's going to show you a sample of your ballot for this March election. All right? You'll actually be able to see what's on your ballot. The county commissioners, the school board, the whole thing. We need you to put in your email, put in your address, put in your name. Then check one of these boxes, check 2 of the boxes, check 3 of the boxes.
Tell somebody, don't leave, you came to march. We need to organize if you're serious about us winning. We need to build an army of 5,000 people.
All the students, the students that have bags, we need the students to go to the left with the bags. Because we're going to take these cards, we're going to take the cards and you're going to move them to the left.
That's your right, our right, your left. Bob's right, your left.
That's it, your left.
Your left. Hold on, just hold the card.
When you finish your cards, you're going to move them to the left because there's going to be bags, students along the lines. Students, are you there with your bags? This is all depending on the youth.
Bob, right there. How many of y'all believe we can get 5,000 people to volunteer to help us get people out to vote? How many of y'all are going to join it? Aren't you glad to come to a march and you get something to do? Yeah.
We're going to register to vote. The first line, we need people to register. Be part of an army that will register folks to vote. We'll send you the tips on how to register folks. The number 2 line, educate.
Be careful.
If they have one.
Back up some.
I got you.
Okay.
They're
all right.
About to fall.
Don't go anywhere.
The second line is helping to educate. You all that are using Facebook and Twitter, we need you to get this hotline out now.
Now notice the universe again. See how the sun came out bright? We getting ready to do something. It's warming y'all up a little bit. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Don't run now. We need your help. And we're going to have a block party at the end. Come on. We need it.
We got the 800 number at the bottom, 888-R-VOTE. That's a helpline to help anybody with any voting issue. If you got questions about voting now, you can call the helpline now. When you go to vote, if you have an issue, call the hotline. We've got attorneys that will be on staff throughout the entire period of early voting and on election day. This primary election, 888-R-VOTE.
Now while you
say it,
go ahead.
Say it with me. Say it with me. 888-R-VOTE.
Now.
Say it again. 888-R-VOTE.
Now.
Put it on your Facebook. Send it out to your friends. Questions, problems, trouble. Call the hotline.
Now, how many clergy do we have? Pastors, rabbis, imam, wave your hand. Pastors. We need all clergy to come to the front. If you're clergy, because we want to sign up your faith community. Or if you are the congregational leader, come to the front. If you're a faith leader, come to the front. They have clipboards here. We want to sign up your faith community. If you're a clergy, don't go anywhere yet. God is blessing us with a little extra warmth.
Yeah, the sun is out.
Sun is out again.
Sun is out.
Clergy, come to the front, right here in the middle.
Congregational, if you're the head deacon, if you're the lead deacon, congregational leader, come forward. This is the time. It's our time.
Everybody raise those cards. If you feel them out, raise them up. Raise them up.
All right,
you got
them up. Now the third thing there is a poll monitor. I hope a lot of you did the poll monitoring. We're going to have volunteers in teams at election places this March election, right? We're going to be able to help people. This is the first time the ID is rolling out. People are going to be confused and frustrated. We got to help them.
That's right.
We need to have the people know that there's a hotline for them. We're going to have people at the polls documenting the problems. We're going to have to get the people who have these problems telling their stories.
Right.
That's part of the issue, part of the fight back, is getting public information out about how the harm that's being done by this new ID law. We need poll monitors that will take a shift, a 3-hour shift on election day. Work with a team.
We'll train.
Sign up and we will send you the information about what's all involved. Sign the poll monitor, check that poll monitor box.
Don't be overwhelmed today. We're going to send it to you. Hook up with your neighbor and say, don't leave me yet. We always close a certain way. We've done this 10 years. Hook up and say, don't leave me yet. Grab them, hook them. Come on, don't leave yet. Now, pass that to your left. Pass the cards to your left. Everybody that fill out a card, raise your hand. Everybody that's still filling them out. We need more.
We need thousands more.
Come on, we need everybody. You came because you believe in this movement. Now we got to do something together. Nobody's going to do this for us but us. Raise your hands if you're still filling them out. Raise your hand. If you need a card, raise your hand. If you need a card over there. Now, while you're doing that, we got 4 people. Lisa, Francis, Mary Kay, Brother Cox. These are 4 of our friends, national leaders that have come here and have pledged their constituencies. Let's give them a hand. Let's give them a hand. They're each going to take a minute and double down, and then we're going to have a block party. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. So hold up. Where's Lisa? Here we go. They're each going to take a minute. Let's go.
Somebody turn to your neighbor and say, I am made in the image of God. I am made in the image of God. And as a result, I have dignity. That is what we are talking about today. That is why immigrants, labor, people who are all colors and races and genders and sexual orientations and everything is inherent dignity, because we are all made in the image of God. Now, when we ask people made in the image of God, we are also made with the ability to exercise dominion. That's in the very beginning. And what do we know about dominion? It's about the ability to exercise agency, rule, leadership. And that is why it is important for us to vote. Because as human beings in America, and a democracy, that is how we exercise dominion. And one day, they created laws that said only some of us could exercise that dominion, could actually exercise agency, could actually rule on this land. But now the people are speaking. The people are rising. Somebody say, I am rising up. I am rising up. Somebody look at your neighbor and say, you are rising up. You are rising up. Forward together, not one step back. God bless you.
When I say you can't, you say stop the revolution. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. Forward together, not one step back. I bring you greetings from the great state of Georgia. We drove up and we had to hold our nose as we passed through South Carolina to get here. There's some folks organizing in South Carolina, but it's not our kind of organizing. They're organizing around hate, they're organizing around fear, and they're organizing around the privileged few. But I'm so glad that I didn't have to hold my breath long, because when I made it to North Carolina, I smelled liberty in the air. I could smell freedom in the air. Yeah. I could smell the organizers gathering together for a new birth of freedom in this country. We in Georgia are building our movement like you built your movement here in North Carolina. And we are no ways tired. We are cold today, but our souls have been warmed by the spirit of North Carolina. Yeah. North Carolina. Yeah. And so we're going back to Georgia. And we'll carry this spirit from Savannah to Albany, from Atlanta to Athens, and make it in all points in between. Because we are going forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
God bless you.
How many of you still have your forms, your pledges? If you passed them off, we got a friend, David Cox, who's been a great friend. He's with the Government Employees Union. He's a son of North Carolina. Hear him right now.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. You know what? We're here today on a moral cause, a righteous cause, a God-given right to vote, brothers and sisters, a God-given right to vote. I pledge to you, AFGE will be working night and day in North Carolina to see that every vote is counted. We've got 3 major things to do: register, volunteer, and vote. Say it with me. Register, volunteer, and vote. Register, volunteer, and vote. Brothers and sisters, you can't set it out. You can't wait for somebody else to do it. We've got to do it. The people's got to do it. This state belongs to the people. This state is my home state. This is where my grandchildren live. This state is important to me. It's important to you. Register, volunteer, vote. Register, volunteer, vote. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Thank you, Reverend Barber.
Yeah, give him a hand, give him a hand. How many of you filled out your cards? Raise your hand. How many of you filled out your card? How many of you passed it to your left? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Now we're getting ready. We're getting ready. Anybody else got a card? Bob, anything else quick? Tell somebody we got to organize. Better wave to all the people that have been looking by stream. All over the country. Put your hands in the air. Now, how many of y'all know that song by Stevie Wonder that says, "You ain't done nothing"? Y'all remember that song said, "You ain't done nothing"? Said they ain't done nothing. They thought they were gonna stop us, but they ain't what? They ain't done nothing. Let the band take over. Let the band bring the funk. Let the band take over. Let the band bring the funk. band to get down. Ain't y'all doing a little something called what? Chameleon. Y'all know that? Chameleon. We want the band to drop it right now, all right? Then we got a couple of more CDs. Come on, let's give it up for the Street Genie and the ensemble, all right? How about that? Come on, give it up.